body was static, frozen, heaven's intermediate. The name loops in my mind. Was she telling the truth? I'm not sure. All I know is that Claire's once clear skin took on a new shade of feasting insects. These weren't the remains of a self-destructive, vodka-consuming woman. This is the essence of a human. A human in the form of a universal truth. And the worst part? There were no tears to stifle. Just a mourning. Mourning to my emotions being out of arm's reach. Elizabeth intermittently changes focus between me and the body beside me dressed in coagulated gore. With a slow hand gesture, she summons a standing casket from the ground.
What happened to this woman was tragic. The universe has constructed a species that lives to suffer in reaction to the truth, desperate to regain ignorance, to connect with revolution, with discovery.
She snaps her fingers, Claire's body levitating as she continues.
I'll save this one for later.
The casket dissolved, almost as if this magic was a repellent, navigating the body to its new receptacle.
As the world suffers more and more, the need to grieve will be replaced with relief. The goal of life will change, but the results will stay in place.
Such a cryptic philosophy. What was she going to do to me?
God has accepted this as the will of the world, not by his own volition, but rather the nature of sin outside himself. For that, I believe he should be condemned. To believe that your own creations should be generalized past redemption.
I shudder as she inches closer to me.
But not I. No, I believe in you, Elijah. I believe in what God does not.
My face twitches in response to her sudden caress of my chin, thumbing its protruding bump.
I believe in you. God has not met the affinity that I've long since curated. It is this affinity that will prevail against the nihilism of a superior being.
A subtle chuckle is directed at me. Her hand rises, the pollex etching the bottom of my lip. Her parted mouth passes a gentle warmth to my cheek.
Your presence. Your sentience. Oh, how I longed for this feeling.
Her eyes redirect into mine, our breath meshing in a shallow distance.
Till we meet again.
Proving false what I had imagined her actions would entail. My body pauses through her means. The blue aura surrounds me, and I sink into the dirt. I stand still while my eyes are level with my dorm. A sharp gasp leaves me when my autonomy comes back. My eyes are drawn to the grays of the clouds and desaturated blues showcased outside my window. This context followed by a bright red 8:20 a.m. displayed on a digital clock. A new morning. A new day? What happened during the time I wasn't a part of? A few deep breaths, and I somehow regain composure. My ability to recover from the supernatural seems to be supernatural within itself. There isn't much to counteract recent events, aside from trying and live as I did before this, with self-aware lowered suspense at what may come. As such, my attention pivots to the idea of returning to the same classroom as I did yesterday. Somehow, by some miracle, my backpack neatly leans against the wall. I have a few assumptions as to why this is, but I don't exactly have any grounded means of inquiry for such a trivial phenomenon. Pulling open a dresser, I toss my shirt and pants to the ground, stripped of everything but my underwear. Another deep breath recollects myself as I look at the ground slightly behind me. Haphazard women's shirts plastered on the ground. My eyes trail their directions. Scattered bras, wide sweatpants half outside a tipped hamper. And then suddenly, an eye looking through a parted blanket draped down like a curtain in the top of a bunked bed. Hastily hugging a pile of clothes, my body to obscure my unveiled self. The person shuts the peeking hole closed. I sidestep into the nearby closet and dress myself up. I try not to overreact past that. I, as I imagine many others, don't particularly like being seen exposed in this manner without prior approval. Slowly opening the door, I take a look and hear breathing a few feet away from me. A sign of the same life, seemingly choosing to stay in place. Out of curiosity, and also partial frustration, I decide to pull back the curtain and see a relatively obese woman in loose, pajama-like clothing, with disheveled mahogany hair.
Hello?
She says with a whispered tone so timid, it made me feel like I was a threatening figure, more intimidating than I actually was. Hey? I respond in a confused tone. My stomach drives inward through a sudden arm, driving me to the floor. I glance up. Tall, blonde, and frantic. An oversized t-shirt. Alexander.
Nice to meet you again, roommate.
I slowly, and reluctantly, pull myself up, immediately thrust forward by his grip on my shirt.
Touch her and you're fucking dead.
He lets me go, and I stumble, finding my way out the door after grabbing my backpack. What was his issue? What is going on? Was there something I missed in the time I was gone? I try to brush it off as a puzzle to piece together, in due time. I didn't have much time before my classroom, so I made my attempt to refamiliarize myself with this cluttered layout of pretentious architecture. A few minutes pass, and I notice my late arrival as I awkwardly intrude on my speaking teacher, stopping mid-speech for a split second to identify my presence, to continue as if my sudden appearance caused a non-consequential short circuit. I am a man of patterns, so I aimed to sit where I did last time. To my surprise, it wasn't empty. Thomas had chosen to attend. It was confusing to see an indirect victim like him come to class. As I settle in beside him, I adjust to the deadpan voice of the teacher.
Alright, students, yesterday we discussed new religious movements. While that is an important subject that we'll go into deeper later on in the course, today I want to focus on everyone's relationship with a higher power, or lack thereof.
What? NRMs? Yesterday? Was I really that unattentive yesterday?
I would like to open the floor for discussions regarding the concept of God itself. Remember, we're not disproving one religion over the other. We're merely probing for ideas to deepen our reflection with spirituality.
A woman in a tightly knitted sweater and chestnut hair pulled back in a ponytail adjusts her thick circular glasses and formally sits up, raising her hand to initiate a dialogue.
Hi, yes, I have a question regarding the concept of God's plan. If God has a goal and a particular and meticulous outline for how his creations carry on about their life, does that imply that we as people do not have autonomy within our lives? That no matter what we do, it is inevitable, and agency is a concept outside our very being?
Rain starts to tap against the pane of the window. Professor Edgar tilts his head at the new sensory intrusion, and back at the student.
Yes. Very good question. Would anyone like to expand on this inquiry?
His eyes scan slowly, followed by a discontented sigh.
No one? Okay. I'll take a stab at it then.
He clears his throat and speaks with a bit of dissonance.
The concept of God's plan is merely that, a plan. While such a being is likely to sustain a prominent impact on our lives, I think the exploitation of his own name exemplifies a free will to some capacity. Our right to protest and question such a thing hints at a level of freedom that allows meaning to coexist alongside whatever powers there may be. While what, how, or why this is something we all question. If life can obstruct any and all forms of morality, it reinforces the initiative we all have to love, murder, war, charity, and so forth, and perhaps the ability to self-govern and react to unknown consequences reveals more about one's own choices in the adversity of justice than any explicit guideline performed for the sake of being performed.
A backpack smashes onto the ground, leading people to look for the teacher and the rest of the students to redirect their eyes to them. The path leads to a girl shivering, leading to Edgar addressing her.
Miss, is everything all right?
All of those thoughts. God.
Ma'am, I recommend a trip to the nurse's office or a counsellor. Existential crises that carry sentiment within are beyond my ability to fix.
Oh, okay.
She grabs her stuff and slowly heads out of the room.
Now then, I want you to research one major religion to come up with 10 questions and later answer them. The minimum response should be a paragraph long. This assignment will be due at the beginning of next week, and I will give you the remainder of this time to get a head start.
On cue, the herd of students swings their backpacks on the desk as they thump in a sort of off-tempo unison. Chattering starts to submerge alongside the intensity of the rain. A subtle rattle to the left of me draws my eyes. A gun inside Thomas's backpack. Shifting my sight back to nowhere in particular, I try to alleviate any suspicion of what I bore witness to.
It's not meant for anyone.
He speaks quietly to me. My eyes shift back to him.
I'm not that kind of person, but what does it matter if you thought I was?
My eyes shift back to him. I sit there in a bit of contemplation. He opens and takes out a laptop lazily, and tosses out a question.
Ever had a girlfriend?
It'd been the first time that I had any sort of will to answer something on my own will ever since I got here. I try not to bring attention to the elephant in his backpack. Yeah, a long time ago. Hand on my chin, my eyes start in all sorts of non-particular areas. I understand how it feels. Thomas subconsciously types in his password, his voice bringing on a new form of lifelessness.
And you're not just saying that?
It was back in high school. A girlfriend. We both had a sense of purposelessness or reason to leave. The mutual disinterest of others turned into an interest towards us, and we stopped thinking. Addicted and uncharacteristically bubbly, living through the security of just being there. My half-closed eyes stare at my screen as I open up a document. She disappeared. Presumed dead. My purpose tapered off sluggishly. Emotionally detached intellectualism, if I, had to put a label on it. He looks at my face. Not receiving the eye contact he appeared to be trying to initiate.
Did you love her for who she is? Do you still love her? Could you move on without any closure?
Not oblivious to him trying to answer his own questions using mine, I balance a pencil between my fingers. I miss the connection, I miss her. I wanted answers. I don't know if those are the same, though. Thomas pulls out another object from his backpack. An all too familiar, opaque bottle of water.
Does it get better?
I don't feel grounded in reality enough to give an answer that isn't poorly timed transparency. Not really. Lonely, longing. Left with the same unfilled sexual urges and the aimlessness as I did when she disappeared. Putting the bottle down, his hands slide into the hole of his backpack.
I see.
Feeling the microscopic bumps on the handgun inside. Retracting his fingers, he zips up his backpack and stands up. He walks out of the classroom, and once he's out of sight, I make an impulse choice to follow slightly behind. Edgar's eyes notice the pattern with disinterest.
Didn't take long to move on, it seems.
He mutters, underestimating the strength of my listening. Ignoring it, I see Thomas turn into the bathroom. I follow suit. I thought that if I informed faculty, or anyone else, it'd do more harm than good. And even if I couldn't play vigilante to whatever I thought was to come, that this would lead to more understanding of whatever had been going on. Curiosity overriding self-preservation, I guess. I hear heavy breathing, inconsistent and nervous sync with a rattle. I could hear his whimpering inside the bathroom stall. Putting the pieces together, I impulsively charge to the stall.
What?
A gunshot echoes. The door swings aggressively against the wall. My eyes try to find the body. No one was there.